And I've hit it. We're recording. Fixed the jazz. I'm excited.
Nice.
So that's at least one good thing we can be happy about. Where's my soundboard? Arguably one of the most important pieces of this puzzle that we call life. Here we go. Starting stuff. Right. Now, come on, soundboard. All right, now we're good.
All beef patties, pickles, sauce, lettuce, cheese, and this pickles, no.
Pickles, cheese,
Lettuce and onion, sesame, all seed buns.
I think they're describing a big...
2 all beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun.
Say that again.
2 all beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun.
2 all beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, onions, pickles, onions on a...
McDonald's Big Mac, the big sandwich with the great big taste that everybody's talking about.
Sesame seed bun, and we forgot the onions.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did say onion.
Are you sure?
It said onion.
All right.
2 all beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun.
McDonald's Big Mac, the great big sandwich with a great big taste.
Lettuce,
Pickles, cheese. Hey, that's a...
Big Mac.
You deserve a break today at McDonald's.
Where your dollar gets a break every day.
Chainsaw to the dick.
You're listening to a Fly Science Productions podcast. Welcome to Stream the Machine. Just when you thought the clips couldn't get any better. So as an incentive, that's actually from the Batman thing I told you about. So you need to watch it. Welcome everybody to Stream the Machine, episode 38. Getting off to a good start here. I've never had a Big Mac. I've never had a Big Mac in my entire life. So
they're pretty good. I hadn't had one until a few months ago, but they're pretty darn good. I'll admit.
It's the Big Mac, it's the Whopper, it's sandwiches with a lot of things on them, and I don't really love sandwiches with a lot of things on them. I kind of like my sandwiches basic. Give me a burger, put ketchup and mustard on it, and leave it be. Maybe put some lettuce, maybe. But I don't know. The Whopper, and like I said, all that stuff has a bunch of crazy stuff. Has tomatoes. I'm not a tomato fan. And actually, you know what? If we know anything about tomatoes,
I was going bananas.
Well, that wasn't it.
Tomatoes were like black, and tomatoes aren't supposed to be black.
Tomatoes are not supposed to be black. Anyways, this isn't the Big Mac show. This is Stream the Machine. This is episode 38. We're here. We're having a good time. We've got jazz now. So I found out my jazz problem just before the show. I was messing with it all week. I even took a video of it with my phone, like the problem I was having, and uploaded it to YouTube. I was looking for what I could find to fix this issue, because it wasn't like my volume knob was like going up as the show went. The volume knob was always at 100%, but the problem is the actual like the waveform, the sound like that you get, like that goes up and down when the music's playing. You'd start out really low, and then it would just constantly like get higher as it went, and I couldn't figure it out. And finally today I looked, and I was like, well, there's a control panel that I don't recognize seeing before. And I opened it up, and lo and behold, in one of the enhanced sound options was the option to like automatically level the volume. And so what it would do is when one sound source would play something, if it was quiet, it would bring it up, and then when another sound source played, so let's say like YouTube, it would come on and it would drop the first one and it would play that, and then it would go back, and then the other sound source would gradually come back. Well, during the show, unless I play a clip, it's not detecting any other sound source, so it just constantly was bringing the jazz up in my ears, and it was really pissing me off. But problem solved. So we're off to a good new year. It's the 3rd. It's January 3rd. I haven't even introduced ourselves. I'm Jake, if you didn't know. This is my co-host, Tony. Tony, how are you doing today?
Doing pretty good. It's cold and rainy here, so there's
really
that. And my monitor's dead.
Yeah, so that happened before the show, and that sucks. But we're gonna try to power through it, and it's 48 degrees here, is what it says.
Jealous.
I don't like the angle that it was at. Is this any better? This is a lot better, I think. Because now you don't have that, like, half-angle view of my crotch that we had before. Like, if I ever had to, like, itch my thigh, I noticed, like, when I was looking in the show, I was like, damn, they can watch me do that. Like, need to change that camera angle. So yeah, here we are. Let's take a look at our stuff here. Okay, yeah, the New Year's come and gone. Rachel's returned. She came back last night. She was gone for a week. She was gone by the time we had the show last. She was home, visited for Christmas, Christmas, New Year's. Had a good time from what I've heard, at least. Seems like it was a grand time. And of course, unfortunately, with the New Year brings the end of the holiday Steam sales. So now the Steam sale's over. Tony, did you pick up any good games on the Steam sale?
I picked up. Well, I sent you Dino D-Day.
Yes, so I did see that. That looked intense.
And then I picked up Anti-Chamber.
Okay, I've seen it.
Super trippy.
Yeah, I've seen it around, but I have not actually. I don't think I own it. I haven't played it. But it was I think it was on my wish list for a while. It looked really interesting.
Yeah, I was super confused.
There's a lot of games. It's probably one of the reasons I didn't pick it up initially was that you can find a lot of those kind of like indie platformer / puzzler type of things on Steam nowadays, and it's almost daunting because you never know where to start. Like something like Antichamber or whatever. But cool, I'm glad we got some good stuff. I got a couple good things, I guess. This sale didn't seem nearly as good as some past year's sales, but...
that's the problem when you have 400 games.
Yeah, I was going to say, at this point, I've accrued, I think, almost 450 games on there. And so, largely, all those big ones that go on sale, you're like, oh, there's nothing good. Well, it's because I think I have most of them. But, that said, even the crazy... Like, I think Far Cry 4 didn't drop too far. Maybe, 33% off. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But, there's always next big holiday, whichever one that's going to be. I don't know. Probably, maybe summer? I don't know. Maybe it's just the two big ones there.
The big one will probably be summer.
But we've got that coming up. Oh, yeah. Okay, so I've got a note in here to tell my parents to watch. Parks and Recreation. Mom and Dad, if you're listening in, this is a little side note. This isn't even on the show. Pretend this is not on the show. If you're not my mom and dad, pretend that I accidentally paused it and I'm going to the bathroom now. Mom and Dad, watch Parks and Recreation. That show's hilarious. I keep trying to tell you to watch it, but I keep forgetting. It's a really funny show. Tony, have you ever seen Parks and Rec?
Oh, yeah. I think I've seen every season on Netflix. Except for the current one.
Corroborate that it is a hilarious show?
I will agree. I will 100% agree. It's hilarious.
It's really funny. Now, the first season is good, but it's not, I wouldn't say golden. Once you hit season 2, and I think that's a general consensus, the first season is really similar to The Office. Mm-hmm. So when you watch it, you're going to think, oh, it's kind of like The Office. Sort of. But wait till season 2, it's going to get even funnier. So start with season 1 just because you want to watch it all, kind of get the story. But it's absolutely hilarious. They just wrapped up filming the last season. And that will, who knows when it will get to Netflix, but there's 6 seasons on Netflix right now. Go watch it. It's hilarious. Tell me about the dog before I jump onto this next topic here.
Okay. So yesterday, me and a buddy of mine, Mark, we played like an unplugged acoustic set up in Lakin, Illinois. And that went really well. We played until about a little after 9. So we played from a little after 7 to a little after 9, about 2 hours. So I come home, and all the lights are off in the house, and both my roommates' cars are gone. So I was like, all right,
okay,
no one's home. Cool, I can just relax. I walk in, go through my back door, and the light in the kitchen was on, and it shines into our living room slightly. And I look in there, and there's just this little tiny dog sitting on my couch. And and my roommates weren't home, and I was so confused.
Right,
I walked up to it, and it was all friendly, and I was like, my first thought was, none of my roommates are home. I don't think they would just leave a random dog in the house. I was like, and it looked eerily similar to one my neighbors used to have before they got like kicked out of their house. So, and we've been robbed once and had stuff stolen off our porch twice. So we're kind of a sketchy area. So I just thought someone was in my house and brought their dog with them.
Right. Well, that would make sense, I guess. That'd be scary.
And so, like, I grabbed a railroad spike.
Good.
I was sitting on top of the molding, and I was like, I didn't expect there to be almost someone, but like, if there was, I wanted to make sure.
Yeah, you want to be prepared.
I did a sweep of the whole house before like talking to trying to figure out who this dog was.
Right.
So I don't know. It seems a little, now in hindsight, it seems a little excessive. It's just a dog. And I texted my roommates, called them both, and none of them answered for like half an hour. And by that time I was sitting on the couch and he was over here trying to cuddle up with me. It was a cool dog, I'm not going to lie. It was pretty friendly. But it turns out it's just my roommate's stepmom's.
I was like,
yeah.
There hadn't been any indication that it was actually going to lead to having an explanation. I thought you're going to be like, it was a funny story, and then that was going to be it. I'm like, well, wait a second, where'd the dog come from? But
yeah, I was seriously confused.
Was that the dog I saw before the show?
What?
Was that the dog I saw before the show? Nice, very cute dog. Very. Rachel would have appreciated it if she ever watched or listened to our show. Yeah, so on the topic of animals, before we jump in here, last week I talked about a horrible experience with what I assumed was a raccoon in the attic. I have not actually had to run into it again. Horrible night. Awful. I mean, I explained it last week. I was jarred and just didn't even know what was, who knows. Anyways, so the guy came, he set down traps, he went up, he comes back and he goes, had I told you about the part where he dropped the traps? Like, I'm trying to think where we were at.
Yeah.
Okay, so Friday he had dropped the traps. Saturday he came over to check the trap, okay? And he goes, well, good news and bad news. Good news is he took the bait, whatever it was. He's like, bad news is the trap is tripped and he's not inside of it. So he was like, whatever it was is big enough to knock over the trap, reach his hand in, and take the bait. And so he sets up the trap a couple more times, and it trips a couple more times, and still haven't found it. Okay, but have not heard anything upstairs either. Now, landlord's gone on vacation. They had an end of the year thing, totally cool. Have not heard from whatever it was. I have no idea.
Whoever it was.
Exactly. They freaking left. A bunch of squatters in our attic, I guess. But so that's. I mean, it's still up there. Unfortunately, it chewed through the ductwork up there. Yeah. So we can't get any air conditioning, which doesn't really matter right now. But he said that's going to have to be fixed because we can't get any air conditioning currently if we were to turn on the AC. Which, like I said, we're not doing right now, so it's not as big of an issue. But kind of an experience. I'm glad at least for the moment that I haven't even heard him crawling and walking and scratching. Like, that's what I heard before, and then that night he just decided he wanted to go over to the door and pound on it. But I haven't seen that either, so I'm kind of like shocked. I don't know where he went. I like just having a guy walk up there. Really, that was it. So all we had to do is pound back on that door or something, and it would have made him stop. I have no idea. But he's gone. So as far as I'm concerned, that's almost as good as him. Actually taking care of it. Now I have a list here of. I guess there is an annual list of banned words. I think these are words that I'm assuming we've decided are just unfit for traditional culture, or for us, for us as human beings. So I have a list here of the words that we're going to talk about. First, let me preface this. This is the 40th anniversary, the 40th annual, rather, of the list of words banished from the Queen's English for misuse, overuse, and uselessness. The list, which released Wednesday, consists of a dozen terms compiled by Northern Michigan's Lake Superior State University based on submissions received throughout 2014 from members of the public. It joins an archive of more than 800 entries created in 1976 by a former public relations director who started with phrases that annoyed him and his friends. Okay? So,
can I guess some?
Yeah, you know what? I actually was going to say, go ahead and see if you can guess some of these. Now, I will say, be careful because some of these feel like they should have been banned last year or previous, but apparently they weren't. So some of these may not necessarily be ones that sort of surfaced in 2014, but they're the ones that now have been banned from it. So go ahead and give me a couple guesses.
Bay.
That is number one on the list.
Yes.
Which, okay, so what does that mean? It's babe, right? Basically?
BAE before anyone else. Like, Jake, you're bae. Before anyone else.
So I'm like I'm your number one, is what that would be.
Pretty much.
Oh. Weird. That's, okay. Next one. Go ahead. Give me another guess.
Thought. THOT.
I do not see that on the list here. What does that even mean?
That means it's another anagram. That hoe over there. Actually, the thought.
Damn. I had no idea.
Which is really annoying.
Yeah, I've not heard that one. I would be annoyed with that as well.
Swag.
Yes, that is on the list. Swag is part of the things that we shouldn't have said.
Shoot.
You want one more guess?
Moist.
Is not no matter how much you hate that word, Tony, it has not been submitted enough times. We have a last-minute submission from after hearing last week's show. My rims! Rims is also... No. Okay, so here we go. Bay is number one. Polar vortex.
What?
Yeah, polar vortex. I have no idea.
I'm guessing just because...
I'm afraid to, like...
It got cold and people are like, oh, it's a polar vortex, man.
I guess. I was worried that it was like an Urban Dictionary term, and if I went, that I would find like some crazy sexual act that I was not aware even existed. Hack.
Hack?
Yes. Now, I agree for that one, just because hacking has now become synonymous with anything related to computers.
That's true.
You knew my password for Facebook, so you logged into it. Therefore, you have now... Oh, shit. Hit things. You have now hacked my Facebook.
What's even worse is, you know what Snapchat is?
I do.
When there's no password to get into Snapchat, you're logged on your phone.
Right.
And people are like, just take a selfie of themselves and send it to people saying, #hacked. Like, no, you just took a picture of yourself on an unlocked phone.
It's so irritating. Yes, and that is why it should be banned, because hacking is so much more work than what this requires. Even when you hear about, and we're going to talk about this in a little bit, just briefly, but the stuff like the PSN going down and the Xbox Live going down, that is not hacking. You're not doing a DDoS attack, which is what's been happening with recent companies. It's a new popular thing by people who you basically pay a server or pay a source to send multiple requests to a website, as if someone were trying to log onto the website and browse, and it sends so many that it crashes the site or crashes the service or whatever. Literally requires zero hacking. You just say, here's the IP, I figured it out, do it. And but that's what we say. We go, oh man, those hackers took down the PSN this weekend. No, those guys are not hackers. They're what we call script kiddies. And it's a bunch of people who use other things that maybe hackers have developed, other techniques, and they use it and they try to call themselves hackers. And so don't give them the satisfaction of calling them hackers. So if someone logs into your Facebook, if someone does anything, they drink out of your coffee cup. Oh, my coffee's been hacked. I mean, that's really what it is. They're just using a tool that might have been yours. Anyways, glad hack is off the list. Skill set is number 4. Did you have something to say about Hack?
No, not really.
I saw you pointing in there. I was making sure I
was
didn't.
agreeing with you.
So skill set. That hasn't been... you know what? I bet you that one is now popular because Taken 3 is coming back out. And he's got a particular set of skills. And Swag is on the list. Foodie.
Foodie.
Yes. Now, I actually haven't heard that one as much. I mean, I know what a foodie is. I know what we refer to...
Like foodie pajamas?
No, not quite. Oh, man, that was funny. Yeah, I've not heard that one used a ton. Now, here's another one I haven't really heard of. Well, I mean, I've heard of the word, but curate or curated. I've not really seen an overabundance of that being used because I don't know how many people actually know what curate or curating means. Hold on 1 second. My sister, I think, is trying to tune into the show today, so let me give her a link. Because I do things like this for my sister. This is for you, Jen. I'm doing this live on the show at everyone else's expense. They're listening in. Here you go. Here's the link. Send it to your Facebook if you can't see it, or if you can't see it before you hear it. Anyways, here we are. Curate. Yeah, it's also on the list. Friend raising.
Friend raising?
Yes, I don't really know what that is. Cray.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I can agree with that one. Cray was a stupid one. Cray itself has been around at least since 2012, because that's when I heard it the first time. Now, given I'm not very pop culturally experienced, because it's so funny. I spend a lot of times video gaming. I spend a lot of times looking at certain things on the internet, and yet I am horribly left out when it comes to the pop trends. With the next pop song, the next whatever, chances are I haven't heard it. Pharrell's song Happy, even after it won all the awards and everything, probably didn't hear it for another 3 months. Until after all of that. And people were like, oh my God, how didn't you hear it? Well, I'm not looking up Pharrell songs. I'm not, going to these pop sites and listening to the stuff. And I also don't have a cable internet or cable service. So I can't just see it on a commercial or anything like that. Legitimately, I heard the Weird Al cover of it before I heard the original, and that's what made me listen to the original. I heard the Weird Al song.
When we talked about Weird Al, that you had brought up that you finally listened to the original.
Right. So when stuff like Cray or anything like that actually comes into vogue, never particularly sure.
I'm on Urban Dictionary. Cray was submitted December 17th, 2002.
Damn. Over 10 years that's been being used, and it's just now decided that might be over the line.
Let's see.
Enhanced interrogation is another one. I don't really know what that refers to unless we're referring to the CIA report that got leaked or that got released for their interrogation techniques. What is enhanced interrogation? Takeaway is also on the list. I'm not sure what that is. And then also the suffix nation. So if it says here, used to make words such as Packer Nation or Cubs Nation.
STM Nation.
Yeah, that's the only thing I could think of. I was trying to think of Machine Nation. It wasn't rolling off the tongue, but STM definitely works. Podcast Nation. Let's see. It says here friend raising, a prelude or alternative to fundraising campaign, but I still don't know exactly what that's supposed to mean.
So instead of you have a fundraiser, instead of going to randoms, you just go hey, you're my friend, help me out.
I guess. I suppose that makes sense. Says Swag's been on the list for a couple years, but it finally made it. Oh boy. Man, and Pharrell's the one who made Bay popular too.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I think it said, so he's got the song, Come Get It, Bay. Oh my gosh. I don't even want to listen to myself say these words. I can't even.
Jake, you're so Bay.
I hate it. Don't do that to me. Alright, so here we go. That's it. We're going to jump into stuff. We have Ross on the show today. Which I'm excited about. We haven't had him in 2 weeks, and we got some stuff to talk about. So anyways, page not found. 404 error. Page not found. So Sony rewards patient users for the holiday outage. Sony's rewarding, and saying exactly what I just said. Sony's rewarding the patients of the PlayStation Network users impacted by the service's downtime over the holidays. So both the Sony Network and the Xbox Live Network were down. Basically, again, a bunch of freaking wannabe hackers trying to knock them out for the holidays for whatever reason so they can try and make a name for themselves. Thing is now that everything's back up, everyone has already kind of forgotten. It was like 3 days anyways, and given I've already owned a PS4, so I wasn't one of the kids that were trying to log in on the day that we got it and found out that I couldn't. That is a bummer. I will agree. It is a bummer. There are much worse situations than having your PSN being down. I saw people on Twitter saying, that's it. That's the final straw. I'm never subscribing to PSN again. I'm like, bro, you are losing out because of 3 days. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I get it. There's an expectation that with paying for a service that it's not going to be taken from you, but that it doesn't always happen that way. Sometimes shit happens, and you have to just roll with it. So basically, well, I'll outline what they've done here. All PS members, PS Plus members, with an active membership or a free trial on December 25th. Damn, some loud dudes outside. Will receive a free 5-day extension to their memberships. So if you are a PS Plus member by December 25th, or rather before it, you will receive 5 free days, which is good considering that the PSN was down, I think, for only about 2 or 3, and also had like some intermittent trouble after that as well, which meant it worked for some people, didn't work for others. In addition to extending the memberships, PSN users will receive a one-time use of a 10% discount on any total cart purchase. So no matter what you buy, if it's in your cart, you will get 10% off for the total purchase. One time only. Now, unfortunately, what that means is if you want to make the most of it, you have to buy a lot of things at once. Otherwise, you only get it on your one purchase. I made a purchase on the PSN since it was on my PS3. I didn't see a 10% reduction, so I don't know if there's a code that they gave out. It actually says right here, a date for when the 5-day extension of the coupon code will become available has not been set. So yes, the coupon has not been released yet. Rewards come as a result of the PSN service being taken offline by a distributed denial of service, or a DDoS. The outage persisted sporadically throughout the 29th, after which Sony finally stabilized the service. I was about to sneeze, but I don't think I'm going to. Many PSN users were required to change their console's settings in order to get the updates. Blah, blah, blah. It's back up now. Did that affect you any? The outage?
No.
It didn't affect me either. I actually was playing PS3 at the time, and like I said, I was playing a single-player game. So it didn't really affect me much. It's irritating, but...
Yeah, I was playing my PC, but since my monitor's dead...
Oh my gosh. It's making me so sad to hear you say that. It's one of the most...
up there, because usually I have a laptop with my webcam, and that's about it. And then I do everything else on my PC, because it's just right here.
Right.
I have a mouse and keyboard and all that. And it's really bothersome. It bums me out.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to escape it. We're not going to escape the overwhelming... I wish there was something I could do about this. Is I always have tools. I always have things. an extra mouse? Sure. But an extra monitor I do not have. Otherwise, I would absolutely send it to you right away. Actually, I'd probably be using it if I had it. But, it's a bummer.
We'll just have to buy a sweet one.
Yeah, that is the only thing that we can take away from this, is that we, as if we're both involved in this purchase because we talk to each other. We also run the podcast, but we also approve each other's purchases before we make them. Yeah, it's the only excuse. Now you have to buy a awesome monitor in order to make up for the one that crapped out.
4K or nah? That should be, or nah. Should be on that list.
I'm not.
Or nah.
Oh, wait, no, yeah. Okay, putting it on the list. I thought you were going to say that should be the new thing, and I was going to say no, it shouldn't be.
I should be on because I say it every now and then and it drives me nuts. Just 'cause it's
well,
like ingrained.
okay, so I say nah if it's like no. Like if someone's like, hey, you want nah or nah or whatever. But if it's in place of not, no,
Yeah.
I've never done that. And you shouldn't
it's
either.
like, or nah. Like, is she bae or nah?
Oh my gosh.
Like, that is like,
I'm going to
no.
explode. There's too much. There's too much going on here. While we're thinking about, well, I would say 4K. First of all, I personally,
I can't swing that.
yeah, I was going to say I don't think it's worth it. Not yet. Not because the thing is, not only do you have to have a good enough card to run a 4K monitor, but 1080p is still pretty bitchin'. So sure, 4K is nice, but if you don't have the card to run it, I don't even think my 980 is a card to run it. I think 4K is really just for like SLI. Like you need to have two cards that can be pretty bitchin'. But yeah, anyways. Adam Sandler is ranked the most overpaid actor for a second year in a row. Forbes compiled its list by looking at the last three major films released by Hollywood stars, what they were paid for their roles, and what those movies earned. Semicolon. In other words, calculation on the return investment for each actor. Sandler offered the lowest return on investment, returning an average of $3.20 for each dollar that he was paid. Well, wait
Is
a
that
second.
just box office?
Sandler offered the lowest, returning an average of $3 for each dollar he was paid. That's still good, though, right?
I mean,
So every
Robert
dollar
Downey,
you paid him, he essentially gave you $3.20. It's still good.
no, I think it means like the first Avengers. Robert Downey Jr. got paid $50 million.
Mm-hmm.
I think. Did Avengers make over $1 billion? I think it did.
I'm sure it did. Avengers.
So that means for every dollar they paid him, he brought in 20.
Yeah, that's true. That's quite a bit of a difference here. Let me see. Now you've piqued my interest. The 2012 film Avengers. Holy shit! $1.5 billion.
Yeah.
And I contributed to that
30.
nonsense.
Every $1 he brought in 30.
Oh boy!
But I'm guessing that's just those stats are just from box office results.
Let's see. Movies earned, blah, probably. Well,
Okay.
I don't know, because if you're considering the last, yeah, I suppose. It's probably whatever they report is the actual, yeah, you're right, you know what, it's probably just box office, because that's what Wiki reports for their return. It doesn't include DVDs, because obviously that stuff kind of continues till the end of time.
Yeah. Because this is where I can't really be mad at Adam Sandler for making his movies. I loved his old movies, like Happy Gilmore, all that.
Right.
But nowadays, I'm kind of jealous of him. He makes bad to mediocre movies with all his friends and just does a ton of product placement.
Right.
To make so much money. So even if it flops at box office, he still made off, and he made a movie with all his friends.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's kind of... I guess I can be okay with that when you put it that way. I've never been a huge Adam Sandler fan. I do think some of his stuff are really funny. And I've said it on the show before. I actually really like Click. Because I think Click is funny and then also kind of emotional. But, I mean, he's done some good stuff. Oh my gosh. Did we talk about this before? His, what was his serious movie with Don Cheadle? Oh. I can't think of it. He did a movie with Don Cheadle where he always walked around wearing headphones. And I don't really want to...
Rain Over Me.
Yes. I don't know if the reception was amazing, but it's... Oh boy, it's kind of a sad thing. It's really worth watching. It's a dramatic movie with Don Cheadle and freaking Adam Sandler. Does it say what the Rotten Tomatoes is on that?
Metacritic is 61. IMDb is 7.5.
That's not bad. It's not awful. It's like above the mediocre range.
64% on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's also, it's okay. I mean, here's another thing, too, is a lot of people don't realize is Rotten Tomatoes literally bases its things on yay or nay. It's like a hugely extremist point of view, because it's either, like, if let's say that you and your body, you're 51%. You're just 1% over not, or actually 2% really, over not liking it that much. Or not liking it really at all. But that considers you're now like 100% yay. Or if you just barely didn't like it, you're at that 49%, that now puts you at, oh, I hated it. Like there's no middle ground. It's either yes or no. So 61% means almost everyone that saw it thought it was, pretty good. We look at that and we see like it's not rated on like a granular scale of, oh, it's got a bunch of 6 out of 10s. No, it's got a bunch of people who, sort of like all in that range of either really liked it, loved it, or maybe kind of, but both of those people actually put in the same potency of a vote, which is why Rotten Tomatoes has to be taken with a grain of salt. But it's good. It's kind of a tragic thing. I can't really say much more about it without giving away possible spoilers, but it's a good movie. Coming behind Sandler on the list was Johnny Depp. His past 3 films returned $4.10 for each dollar he was paid, and then Ben Stiller, who has returned $4.80. Okay, let's see a full list here of the stuff. Let's take a look. The top most overpaid actors. Adam Sandler, then Johnny Depp, Ben Stiller. Okay, there's only 11 or so here. Ryan Reynolds, $4.90 for every dollar paid. That's including the RIPD, which, how is it that when we know that there's movies coming out that they're probably not going to be that good, but Hollywood doesn't know that? Like RIPD comes out. Cares. I guess, that maybe they don't.
I think there's some shady accounting going on. Like, they can make these box office flops.
Right.
And yet everyone attached to that project still gets more work.
It's really crazy because we should know this by now. The RIPD, guess what? I am actually a firm believer that almost every idea could work. Take a look at Guardians of the Galaxy. That
you still haven't seen.
I still haven't seen it, but that is it was a big flagship for the idea that you could take something that no one had heard of. It's got a freaking talking raccoon in it and a tree, and it's got all these crazy things and make it amazing. I am a firm believer that if you have the right people behind the any project, that you can somehow spin it to work. It could be the worst idea ever, and it may not even be that great of a film, but you can somehow make it salvageable. With stuff like RIPD, it's just like, come on, like there's actually, you're telling me, and I imagine it was probably something like the Ghostbusters going around killing spirits and shit. I don't know. Come on, there's something to work with there. There's an idea. How do you mess it up? Tom Hanks is next on the list. $5.20, which includes Cloud Atlas. Big surprise there. That was a very expensive film that did not make very much money in the box office. Will Ferrell for $6.60. Films like The Campaign, which I have seen. It was kind of funny. He punches a baby in the face. Have you seen The Campaign?
No.
I don't remember much of it, but at one point he accidentally slips and punches a baby. The whole thing is making fun of it's basically a satire. But he accidentally slips and punches a baby in the face, and of course all the reporters there are like, he viciously attacked this child. And it's funny. But it also lists The Other Guys on this list, and that's a sad thing because The Other Guys is a phenomenal film.
It really is.
But it did not make a lot of money at the box office.
Gator needs his gat.
Oh, man. It was a really funny... Oh, my God. That movie was... I was crying in the beginning. The first time I saw it, when they go back and forth and he talks about being like the the lion with like the tuna fish and I don't remember what it's this huge rant. And the first time I saw it, I was in tears because I was laughing so hard. Channing Tatum is next on the list at number 7 here, $6.70. It includes Magic Mike, and then White House Down. Is that also something he did?
Yeah.
Magic Mike, I feel like got good reviews, but also is probably something that people didn't really care to go see. You know?
I mean, it appealed to one demographic.
Yeah, well, okay, so on the outside, yes. Now, I haven't seen it because I didn't think it would appeal to me, but I am curious if it's one of those things, you know, like let's say Moulin Rouge is something that, you know, if you really watched it, you could probably find a lot to appreciate about it. But when you look at it and you're like, people singing? That's not for dudes. And so then you don't go, you know? I'm sure there's probably something to enjoy about it. Denzel Washington is next on the list here, $6.90. Doesn't say anything here about which movies he did, but he was in the one about the drunken pilot.
Flight. I thought that was... Is this just a 2014 or like the past recent years?
That was... It said the last 3.
Okay.
So probably 14, 13, and 2012, I imagine.
Okay, cool. I know he's in The Equalizer this year. I don't know much else. Flight was a tremendous movie, though.
I haven't seen it. I think it's on Netflix.
Mm-hmm. It's where I watched it.
Let's see. Sandra Bullock's on the list here. $9 for every dollar repaid. Let's see.
But still, that's 3 times better than Adam Sandler.
So, yeah, it's true. Blindside and The Gravity. The Gravity? What am I, Gravity. 90 years old? I'm like, we're looking at, on the Google Chrome here. Got a website, the Forbes website.
Forbes.
So The Blind Side and Gravity. Gravity, I think, notoriously underperformed at the box office despite reviewing pretty well. And how did The Blind Side not make? She must have been paid a ton on The Blind Side. That's the only way that they could have had this. Because what it's doing is it's rating the it's rating what the box office makes versus how much they got paid. So that's crazy. Ben Affleck, $9.37. Runner, which I don't know what that was.
It wasn't very good. It was like him and Justin Timberlake. Justin Timberlake plays like a casino guy or blackjack person. I don't know. It wasn't very good.
And then of course
Ben Affleck plays a bad guy, which is neat, but it wasn't very good.
I'm gonna guess that Gone Girl probably didn't perform crazy well either. It was a good movie. I enjoyed it, but I mean, it was the same thing with Fincher's last film. He did, what was it? Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. I love that movie. But there were so many people that, you know, you hear about a rape scene in a movie and then you don't want to see it at all. And that's fine. Whatever. It's not like you have to see movies that have such questionable content. Or not questionable, but explicit, I guess. But it was a bummer because it's such a great film, but it didn't make enough money. And actually, here's a little tidbit. Since this is one of the reasons we haven't seen a sequel yet for Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. They wanted Fincher to do the sequel with less money than he was given for the first film. Even though they technically made a profit on the first one. But they wanted him to do a sequel, and they were like, you can do it, but we cannot give you nearly as much money. And he was like, well, how the hell am I supposed to pay these guys, you know, the actors and everything else? Because that's what they do. They give you the budget, and then you divvy up how you have to pay the actors and everything else.
Yeah.
And so one of the big reasons we haven't seen it is because Fincher has been so on the edge on whether or not he's even going to continue with it. And Sony has said that they're willing to venture forward. I wonder if... Actually, I don't remember if Fincher actually dropped off the project or not, but it's been because of budget concerns. Because even though they technically made a profit, it wasn't very far over the budget for the film that they made the box office return. And so because of that, Sony said, you know, unfortunately we can't give you as much this time around. And it sucks because it was a really great film. I loved it. It's also one of the best movie soundtracks I ever heard. And I know it's biased because of Trent Reznor, but...
Yeah, I was going to say.
It's really good stuff. That said, I don't think the Gone Girl soundtrack is very good at all. I mean, it's good, but it's not nearly as good as the other one, and that's also Trent Reznor.
That's true.
So, go ahead.
Shoot. I read an article just yesterday. You might already know this, but did you know that David Fincher was like in serious consideration for both Spider-Man movies, like the first trilogy and this reboot?
I think I might have heard a little bit about the reboot. I didn't actually know about the if I did know, I don't remember knowing.
Yeah, and that would have been neat.
I would have, you know what? When I saw the trailer for the Amazing Spider-Man, sort of the reboot, I was like, this feels like a Fincher thing because it looked darker. Yeah. It looked a lot darker, and I think that's why people were originally concerned. But I would have loved to have seen a Fincher Spider-Man. Although, you know what? I do remember reading a little bit about this now because I feel like it said it would have focused more on him being a freak. Like being like the outcast of like, I've been bitten by a spider and now I'm Spider-Man. And it would have been like less sort of, I guess, faithful to the comic. I mean, it wouldn't have probably changed too much, but he was definitely going to focus more on like the kind of weird vibe of it.
What I read said like he would have just done like a 10-minute one shot of like an origin story, and that would have been it. Like he wouldn't have made a whole movie about an origin story.
Yeah, it seems to be a lot of people complaining about the origin stuff. I'm kind of okay with it because I feel like it's sometimes necessary. I mean, can you make a film that technically is, you know, lacking with beginning and story because other films exist that are out of the series? You know, can you make a film that knowingly acknowledges other films that are unconnected? That's my question, because you know that was a complaint with the first one. Why do an origin story, or not the first one, but the reboot, the Amazing Spider-Man? You know, why do origin when we already know what happens? Well, technically, the other Spider-Man was part of a different like saga, so it kind of worked for me. You know, I mean, I already knew it, but I understood it because it was part of a different thing. You know, like. So now you're saying that the movie has to say, like, all right, we know that Sam Raimi made these movies ahead of time, so we're just going to cut right to the meat here. And
because I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy had started like Chris Pratt's character as a kid, then it fast forward to 30 years, and there's no real origin story. He was just Star-Lord.
I guess
5 minutes into the movie.
I guess you can do that if you're Marvel and you're smart. But unfortunately, Spider-Man currently is being run by Sony, and they apparently do not have their shit in gear. Let's go to news, and I'm actually going to cut an article or two so we can make time here.
This just in other news.
Let me make sure my volume on the mic is okay. I just realized that I plugged it back in. What is this? Yeti Pro. Yeah, okay, we're good. It's all good. There's a Facebook notification. What am I doing here? I'm clicking on articles. Sorry, I totally spaced there for a second. Alright, I'll pick the two. Okay, they're the first two. And then I'm gonna slowly go, or quickly go over the second two. Woman cited for mailing cow poop to neighbors. You always got to have a poop story, as much as we can at least. An Iowa woman is facing harassment charges for having a box of cow poop mailed to her neighbors after they repeatedly complained about her dog's barking. Burlington police said Kimberly Capdevilla, 51, sent the smelly package to neighbors, Steve Rowland and Mary Eipert, through the website poopsenders.com. This exists, apparently. I have not gone to it. I'm not going to go to it right now because I'm sure I would get sidetracked. After the neighbors repeatedly complained to the police about the Capdevilla's dog barking during the past 3 years. On December 13th, Roland received a package in the mail from poopsenders.com. Des Moines County District Associate Court documents state inside the package was a substance that was identified as animal feces. On December 29th, officers spoke with Kimberly Capdevilla, who stated that she had the package sent to the Rowlands because of the ongoing problems between the two families. Police said poopsenders.com, which offers deliveries of cow, elephant, and gorilla poop through the United States Postal Service, did not break the law by filling Capdevilla's order. The website says customers may not use our service to threaten, constitute harassment or violate a legal constraint or any unlawful purpose. The customer agrees that this is a gag gift, novelty service for entertainment only, and that is their only intention. There's more stuff here.
At least it's anonymous, from what I'm gathering from this website.
Why would she admit to reporters that she did it then? Oh.
Yeah, it says each package contains the following business card right in the poop. When they see the front of the card, they'll have to open the bag, releasing the nasty aroma, and dig it out of the poop, only to find this on the back. The front says, "You've been pooped on. Want to know by whom?" And it says, like, over. And on the back side, it says, "We'll never tell. www.poopsenders.com." But you can get 1 gallon of gorilla feces for $28.95 plus $9.95 shipping.
Oh, it's not bad. It's not bad. It's less than what I've paid before. Company, let's see. After all the problems we've had, I thought it would be funny to do. Be a funny thing to do. I'm sorry if they took offense to it. If they took offense, I apologize and never intended to harass them. I look forward to having my day in court. Yeah. Nice job.
Ridiculous.
Nice.
Speaking
nice
of
job.
Mailing poop, did you see the... do you know what Cards Against the Humanities is?
I do. I feel like we've already even mentioned this on the show. I thought I brought it up before.
They sent their special bullshit edition.
Oh, I didn't see...
They sent a box of cow poop. That was it. That's what they advertised it as.
That's crazy.
And they made a ton of money. It's just ridiculous. Like, I think that was their Black Friday deal. I know last year, for Black Friday, they upped the price by like $10 and made a bunch more money.
That's crazy. Well, I mean, I guess people, buying into the joke, into the novelty of having shit shipped to your door. Okay, so this one hits a little bit close to home. This is local news, technically. I mean, I guess if you're from...
For me or for you?
For both of us. If we're from Illinois, which I'm not from Illinois. Well, I am, actually, but I don't live there. I'm going to send you this picture, too. This is a little rough. It's not really rough, actually, but it's rough when you think about it. Let me get Tony DePalma here. Oh, there you are. I'm going to send it to you on Facebook. Boom.
All right.
It's actually just a link to the article. Here we go. 7-inch car turn signal removed from man's arm after 51 years. Okay? And you're thinking to yourself, what? What does that even mean? Well, let me tell you. An Illinois man suffering pain in his arm underwent surgery to remove a turn signal rod embedded in his body after he crashed his Ford Thunderbird 51 years ago. Arthur Lampett of Granite City said he was treated for injuries to the surface of his arm after the 1963 crash, but did not know anything had remained stuck in there until he set off a courthouse's metal detector about 10 to 15 years ago. 51 years, mind you. Just remember that. Lampett said his doctor performed an X-ray and determined there was a metallic object in his arm, but it was recommended it be left there when as there was no pain or loss of functionality in his arm. The retired real estate agent said that the arm finally began to hurt a few weeks ago while he was doing work at the house while he was repairing, and a specialist recommended surgery when the affected area started to swell. Ugh, I'm like getting tingles. Just Lampett unearthed some pictures from his 1963 crash and began to suspect that the metal object in his arm was the turn signal lever when he realized the object was missing from the Thunderbird's demise. Surgeons at the City Place Surgery Center in St. Louis, Missouri, operated on the arm for about 45 minutes and discovered that the cause of Lampett's problems was indeed the 7-inch turn signal lever. Lampett said he had been planning to do something special with the lever, possibly turn it into a keychain. In his arm! Stuck! 7 inches. 7 inches. I don't have a ruler, but 7 inches is probably about, easily... I'm like flicking out the camera here. I mean, in your arm, man. Like, stuck. I can't... It's longer than this. It's longer than that, stuck in your arm. Oh my gosh. 51 years.
I felt kind of cool having a thorn stuck in my foot for a month that worked its way out. But having cars...
This guy's one-upped you, man. He started this game a long time ago. Oh my gosh, and he's like the happiest ever, too. He's just sitting in that picture like, look at this. I mean, I guess if it didn't hurt, then, then it didn't hurt. But...
I'm just looking at, like, the rust or
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's
slowly, like it broke down a little bit in his body. So like parts of that thing is still in his body.
Yeah, I don't know. So yeah, I'm actually surprised it's not more rusted, but I guess if you think about it, it would need to get the oxygen. And it was probably just sitting between like fat and muscle tissue or something.
Who knows?
That's so weird. Anyways. Second ones that we don't have time for here. Dad extracts tooth using floss golf ball and a golf club. Yeah, apparently there's a video on this and it went viral. I'm afraid to watch it. So if you're listening in and you're sitting at home going, I really want to watch something that would probably make me squirm in my seat, YouTube, tooth, floss, golf ball, whatever. You'll probably find it. And to follow up on our story from last week, the cat has been found from the box spring.
Really?
They found the cat. Now, actually, let's click on the article and figure out how they found the cat. And then we'll move on here. Let's see. Oops. Announced in a Reddit thread that the feline was caught in a trap near home of the person who purchased the box and the mattress set about 10 days after the saga began. Defect said that he sold the mattress and blah, blah, blah. The couple carried out a 10-day search, which included the home of the person who purchased the bed set, but had no luck until Sunday when Camo's the name of the cat, was caught in a trap near the home. Defect said the cat trap had been baited with sardines and oil and closed with smells that Camo would associate with his owners. How did that work? That's incredible that they were able to do that. Let me adjust my camera here again. It's bothering me. Don't want to get too low. I'm doing like some hand-like motions, and I'm noticing they're not showing up. I gotta do them higher.
This is like I'm maxed out right here.
But yeah, good news for the cat, despite the fact that cats suck. Let's see, what are we doing? Spent a lot of time in news today. Let's see, what time? So we've been here for about an hour. Let's do some would you rathers.
Yeah,
we can swing it.
It's our show. We can do what we want.
So sometimes I'm like so worried about hitting the 2-hour mark, but now I'm like, no, that's why we organized the show the way we did, so we could hit the 2-hour mark if we had to. Let's see here. Let's look. I don't have a sound for Would You Rather, so I always find a sound clip to play. So we're gonna play this one again.
Chainsaw to the dick.
Oh, so good. Speaking of which,
Pro boner.
Yep. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Here's a good one. As soon as I saw this one, I was like, we're doing this one. Would you rather dip your finger in acid? Okay, I'm gonna say, up to here. You just and then immediately back out. Or get your big toes eaten by a camel.
So dip one finger in acid?
One finger in acid. I'm going to say it's the equivalent amount of pain. Well, approximately. So if the idea is, like and the acid isn't actually going to do much, then it turns into going and like letting it sit in there and then and then pulling it out. Whatever's going to cause sort of an equivalent amount of pain. But here's what you're doing is you're losing one of your fingers versus losing your big toe. Big toes, actually. It says both toes.
Both big toes. I don't have to go one finger.
Okay. Which finger would you choose?
If I get to pick two, then my left pinky.
Yeah, you know what? I'll let you pick. Go ahead.
Yeah, left pinky. That's what I would do.
Fun fact, I guess, if you don't know much about the Yakuza, which why would you? I was starting to play the Yakuza games just recently, and I was reading that when you sort of have like an infraction in the Yakuza, they will cut the tip of your pinky off, and they'll continue, because the idea was that your bottom three fingers are the most that strengthen your sword grip the most, and so if you start to lose it. The thought is that the more you lose it, the less efficient you are on your own. So the less likely you are to make decisions thinking about the individual, and the more likely you're going to make decisions based on sort of the group or the Yakuza. So they would just continue to cut away at that finger. So yes, but since you're not wielding any swords, losing your pinky probably is not that big of an issue. And you could probably also play drums without having a pinky.
Yeah, that was kind of my thing.
It would be, it sure would be a pain in the ass for losing it for guitar, but that probably also would be my best choice, because every other, either that or maybe my middle finger.
Or you can miss you can miss your right pinky, still be able to strum.
That's true. Right pinky would be a decent choice. Or get your big toes eaten by a camel. And the thing about losing your big toe is then you have no support to walk. So you are now, you're either literally going to be just like you can't lean forward at all. You're just going to have to just walk, just lifting your legs up and then putting all of your weight on that in the center of your foot, or sitting in a wheelchair for the rest of your life. So we'll go with the finger. Let's take a look here. That's maybe not surprising at all. 136,000 votes. 70% said that they would rather dip their fingers in acid. 31% said that they would rather have their toes eaten by a camel. Let's see here. What is another one? I
got one for you.
Go. Okay. Wow.
I'm going to mix it up a little bit.
All right.
Would you rather be able to lift 100 pounds telekinetically or 10,000 pounds physically?
1,000 pounds telekinetically?
No, 100 pounds telekinetically or 10,000 pounds physically.
Oh boy, that is a tough one.
I don't have any stats on this.
No, that's perfectly fine. That's good. This is surprisingly, I'm sure this is the only site that actually has stats, but it's only because it's like something that you go and people will just continually click on it. 100 pounds telekinetically or 10,000 pounds physically. So the real question is, what is more practical to me? Being able to lift 10,000 pounds or up to 10,000 pounds physically, or lifting things of 100 pounds in weight with my mind? Now, is that to say that I have, well, I'm going to do, I'm going to go with 10,000 pounds physically.
Yeah?
I think so. Now, would I burn the calories that I would burn if I was actually lifting something with 10,000 pounds?
You get on a whole different level.
Because that would really be what I want to do is, it's freaking fast track to losing weight? Sure. Lose it literally, I think you'd all...
car.
Yeah, you'd have to do, I think, about 5 presses, and you're done. You're no more weight loss for the rest of your life. Yeah, I would do the 10,000 pounds.
Yeah, I think I would do the 100 pounds telekinetically.
It sure seems like it would have its uses, and you could definitely troll people a little bit more.
Yeah.
I guess that's so with the trolling aspect, it's definitely preferable.
I think, and then I could mess with people at the gym. Actually, that would be mean. Someone steps on the scale, I could just telekinetically push down a couple 20 pounds to make him.
That's funny.
I'm trying to think of all the stuff I could do.
There's so much.
But yeah, I would go telekinetic. And we could be a superhero team up team.
Lift a building. That's all I could do. lift a burning building that someone's trapped under, if that ever happens. Let's see. We're not going to do that one. That one's food-based. That also is not a very good one. Oh, come on. Let's do one more good one. Well, that's a stupid... Oh my gosh, these are dumb. Would you rather? Would you rather? Would you rather? Oh my gosh, that one's awful. Sorry. I wish you could see these. Some of these are stupid, and some of them are... hopefully we haven't hit the point.
Well, here's a filler one while you look.
Okay.
Would you rather eat a hot dog with a hamburger bun or a hamburger with a hot dog bun? Asking the real questions.
Those are good
What
ones.
does the goddamn line say, Tony?
It's not that.
It's because, like, dude, eating food.
It's just a one-time thing. It's not like for the rest of your life. This is how you eat it. Just a one-time thing.
I know, but I have to figure it out if I want to enjoy that thing.
I think I would do a hamburger on a hot dog bun. I'd slice a hamburger in half, pull it up, put it throw it in the bun.
I would go the other way around, and I think it's because I'm more hungry for a hot dog right now than I am for a hamburger. I would find a way to make it work.
There's a way.
Indeed. Well, I couldn't find any more good ones. I'm going to have to look next time, but luckily we had that last one. So we don't really have to worry about it. Now we're going to move on to that part of the show where we take a small break. Jazz, stop it. Oh, and it listened. Alright, so we've got new music this week from our show favorites, I guess you could call. Actually, just one of them, DJ YRS Jerzy, who sends in his music from time to time. This is a song by NephLon Don, who actually, from what I read, recently signed on with DJ YRS Jerzy and Chose Mac. The song is featuring Interstate Snake, great name, and DJ YRS Jerzy, who's been a veteran of the show. The song is called Trappin' for a While. This is their new single. We're going to play this. When we come back, we're going to have really good Karmafied segment, because we've been without it, and now we can have some serious talk and get down to the nitty-gritty with Ross. Unless he has something else planned for us, actually. Then we'll do that. But until then, we'll do that. Here's a little something.
Can't have sex with bones.
That is true. We will see you on the other side here.
Yeah. Smoke my smoke. Welcome to my motherfucking trap house. Ring for a minute. Keep your mouth shut. Keep your TBS eyes. Keep your ears open. You might learn a thing or two. Yeah. I've been out here for a while. Wow. Getting to it like I'm supposed to. I've been out here for a while. I've been out here for a while. Yeah. I've been out here for a while. Wow. Yeah. I've been trapping for a while. I wanna thank God I ain't dead or in jail. I could be doing hard time. I've been trapping for a while. I wanna thank God I ain't dead or in jail. I could be doing hard time. I've been trapping for a while. Bitch, I've been trapping for a while. I've been trapping for a while. I wanna thank God I ain't dead or in jail. I could be doing hard time. I've been trapping for a while, and I wanna thank God I ain't dead or in jail. I could be doing hard time. My daddy was a preacher, got my hustle from my mom's. Ain't wanna see a struggle, so I had to go and grind. I wanna thank my uncle, he gave me my first nine. And shout out cousin Chubbs, he showed me my first nine. I could've been a plug, but I'd rather go and rob. Salute my nigga Gunner, cause he never left my side. They just free cooking ood, and I just wanna thank God we ain't dead or in jail. Now free Yitty Bop and Smile, they been down for a while. Life sentence, large trial, so I pray for their appeals every time I kneel and bow. I've been trapping for a while. I wanna thank God I ain't dead or in jail. I could be doing hard time. I've been trapping for a while. I wanna thank God I ain't dead or in jail. I could be doing hard time. I've been trapping for a while. Bitch, I've been trapping for a while. I've been trapping for a while. I wanna thank God I ain't dead or in jail. I could be doing hard time. I've been trapping for a while.
I don't see no
flavor don't hit no Eve ain't speaking no English. My plugin for Hondo, I call us Picasso, he speaking no English. I need Kelly and Regis, he ship it to Phoenix, it's on by the weekend. You know they be fiending, see how they leaning, all of them tweaking. Now I'm back up in the kitchen like, oh Lord. Watch some flakes form together like Voltron. I'm the champ in this trapping, call me Trappin. Butt naked white girl, call it Kim Kardashian. I've been trapping for a while, that's why I'm icy. They in love with that like ice cream. Mr. Water whipping, stay up on my grind time, call me Snake Count. Serving I've been trapping for a while, I wanna thank God I ain't dead or in jail, I could be doing hard time. I've been trapping for a while, I wanna thank God I ain't dead or in jail, I could be doing hard time. I've been trapping for a while, bitch I've been trapping for a while. I've been trapping for a while. I wanna thank God I ain't dead or in jail. I could be doing hard time. I've been trapping for a
while. Discover a world beyond your wildest dreams. Discover Atari. Pioneers in coin video games like Centipede, Tempest, and Asteroids. They'll challenge you, excite you, test you like never before. Discover the Atari that opened your eyes to the world's most popular home video games like Space Invaders, Missile Command, and Warlords. Discover the Atari that brought you a home computer truly designed for the home. Sophisticated for advanced needs, yet simple enough for your child to use. Compose music, play advanced games, manage your finances, all at the touch of a button. Discover Atari. And discover how far you can go.
Jacob, keep your shirt on! No!
Well, that asshole.
You are listening to a Live Science Productions podcast.
And we're back. I really want a cough switch, like a mute button. I've got one on my mic, but can you hear that clicking on and off?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a terrible mute switch. I mean, I guess you don't do it during the show, but then I'd have to sit here like this the entire time and be like, and we're back, and just, so yeah, anyways, we're going to get Ross on the show now instead of me doing my little ridiculous antics. Calling him in. Oh no, this means I have to reset everything, and
yep.
It always happens. All right, here we go. We're going to do this quick, and I'm going to play a theme while I do this. Oh, get over there, get over there, get over there, get over there. Do it. No. Here we go, and we're going to get him here. Hold on. Ross is, distinguished, got his big old beard.
It's not going to be easy, but it will be worth it.
There's amazing things going on every day.
I may not be good, but I'm expensive.
It's Ross and I, and then a bunch of women. Don't let society tell you what to do. He has the power.
Brody.
Oh, God. Hold on. I still haven't fixed it yet. Hold on. How does this...
Morning, Ross.
Off.
What's up, Tony?
Oh, here we go. It kind of works.
How's the holidays?
Life's good, man. Living the dream.
Go ahead and talk, I guess. I'm trying to set this up for the freaking viewers, and it's not doing it. Come on, you thing.
Have a good Christmas/New Year's.
Yeah, it's been pretty good. We had a lot of good family time, and we played a board game, I think, 30 times within a week.
Just one or 30 different board games?
No, one board game, like 30 times. Which, honestly, I can't complain because I'm completely addicted to it, and I can't get enough of it. So,
which game?
It's called Settlers of Catan.
Oh, I love Settlers of Catan.
Oh, you played?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Oh, it's nuts. Yeah, okay. And we just got the expansion packs, and we're total nerds now. Totally.
Yeah, I've played the base game and then the Seafarers edition, expansion.
We just played the Seafarers for the first time a couple of years ago, and I can't get enough. Like, I want to set it up and just play with it like toys, just so it's there. Yeah. So, what about you? How was your holiday?
It's pretty good. Pretty busy.
All right.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot to even mention in the show notes about snowboarding.
Oh, tell us. I'm sorry.
I completely forgot I went snowboarding.
Yeah, me too. I should have written that in there. So last week, if you didn't tune in, Tony went out to snowboard, which the last time he went snowboarding, he got a concussion. So, Tony, update us. Tell us, how did the snowboarding go this time?
Well, we got there. We snowboarded for 2 days, stayed 2 nights. Didn't get a concussion.
Good. Always a good
But
thing.
I do feel like an old man because my knee is all bruised. I hit my hip super hard. And my shoulder's a little out of whack. I'm getting better. But getting back on New Year's Eve, like drive back home, you're like, yeah, let's go do something. And like it's New Year's Eve. And we got home. Yeah, we were not up for much of anything. But I mean, there was 8 of us guys that went snowboarding. So
that's crazy.
It was a pretty good time.
I'm glad you enjoyed yourself. I'm glad you didn't hurt yourself to a major degree. Ross Bays, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
It has been 2 weeks. It has been 2 weeks since we've seen you.
It's been a while.
Been doing things. Since then, we've had dinner, and I've played Settlers of Catan for the first time.
We forced him to play when he came over.
Nice.
But it was fun. It was good. It was a grand old time. Did you want to continue with the theme that we had been doing for the longest time?
Yeah, I have the list of topics right here, and I have a couple picked out. But as I was listening to the show, something had popped into my head, which I don't even know how good of a topic it would be. So I have no prep, but for the meantime, I think we'll stick with the topics and just
that's fine.
See where it goes.
No, that's perfect, and that's what I had originally thought of. But I was like, you know what? I could spend 2 weeks. I wasn't sure if Ross had anything else, but this is perfectly good because I loved doing this series, and I'm glad that you're back so we can continue it. For those of you tuning into the Twitch stream, I'm sorry that the image looks it's not perfect, but
we are.
Luckily, I have such
we make up for it.
Awesome co-host here to help out with this, so it helps things out. I don't know why it decided to be goofy today, but whatever. We're gonna move on with it. We're not gonna get hung up on it like I always do. Ross, what do we have to talk about today?
All right, so based on current events, what we're seeing now with law enforcement and invasions of privacy and all kinds of stuff, my first question, and I will start with you, Jake, is do you think that law enforcement cameras are an invasion of privacy?
Law enforcement cameras. Now, are these referring to
like body cameras?
Yeah.
Okay.
An invasion of, and I'm assuming we're talking about the people that they beat down. I mean, like the people that they. Sorry, I should be insensitive. There's multiple sides to this to that debate. But are we talking about like dash cam, or you said body cam? So not including a dash cam, or are they an invasion of privacy? I guess it's hard to say unless we're depending on what we're talking about. If we're talking about for like what public viewing, like are we talking about invasion of privacy of the people that they're busting? If you're I'm guessing that the original thought, the original intent for this is that you're doing something questionable or whatever. They have reason to be investigating you, breaking down your door, whatever they're doing. So they have a camera for it to sort of monitor everything that's going on. Same thing with that's the reason why the dash cam exists. They don't need to record them pulling you over and giving you a ticket, but if something goes wrong, they have now evidence that something's going on. If you are in fact in the act of doing something illegal that merits them doing whatever they're doing, then I feel like you kind of give up your right to privacy there, or at least whatever. Now here's the thing where the privacy thing kind of gets on me is what is to be considered private? Is it private Is it not private when, the rest of the precinct or the rest of their cop buddies or whatever get to also see the video? Or are we saying that, no, privacy is only breached when it's on America's Funniest Home Videos? At what point is the privacy breach? Because if it's just used within the, the cop field, that's literally what their job is. They get to sort of, I don't know. If it's not being exploited, if it's not them uploading it to YouTube after they just busted you for getting a ticket, then no, I don't think any of those are an invasion of privacy. At least not currently. My opinions can change if I'm presented with differing evidence, but at the moment, it sure seems like it. Now, if you try to flip the situation and say, because there's now talk about whether or not, I think we brought it up on the show maybe, if recording cops in Illinois now is, maybe we didn't bring this up, but they reenacted the law in Illinois where you cannot record a cop if they think that there is a degree of privacy. And so it's almost like that you're asking me like the inverse question is, like recently I was in a debate with people about this, and now you're asking me, let's turn it around. It is an invasion of privacy for a cop to record a person. I don't know. Like I said, as long as it's not, and I don't see cops using it for nefarious use, but who knows? So I'm going to say that no, I don't think it is, because that's part of their job. It's a tool that they need in order to make. It's also to make sure they're keeping their asses in line. It's not just to spy in on you and whatever dirty things you're doing. It's there to make sure that they hopefully take accountability for anything that they're doing if it happens to be nefarious. I'm going to let Tony answer because my answer is not a very good one.
I pretty much agree with your statement. I don't know about when it comes to privacy, if it comes down to something being illegal or not, that's evidence. Mm-hmm. Like, privacy goes out the window. If you did something wrong, you did something wrong. The only time I can see that being an issue is if they enter a premises without a warrant.
Yeah.
And then it's video footage of them entering the premise with no.
Yeah, so it works against them.
Yeah, so I'm all for cops getting body cameras to keep accountability on for both sides.
Yeah,
like so we actually have documented evidence about what really went down. So I guess in general, I don't think it's an invasion of privacy per se. Piracy.
An invasion of piracy? Invading our pirates. How dare you?
Pirates. Johnny Depp. So yeah, I don't think so. I think it's more of a way of just gathering evidence.
Yeah, I think that, I've dealt with the law enforcement community for a number of years, and I know that, and I listen to people in their conversations or their debates, when we hear a story that happens in the news, and everybody rushes to this one side, whether it's against the cop or for the cop, because everybody sits usually on one side of the fence.
Yeah.
And coming from my background of dealing with law enforcement, dealing with military, and having to do all of those jobs, I have a different viewpoint as a lot of people that have never been in those situations. So, they've never had to deal with not just like an actual aggressor, but having to deal with the rules of engagement around that whole situation. That's a whole different world. So I think, for me, my opinion is putting these cameras on, just like Tony says, it creates a level of accountability for not just the perpetrator, the suspect, or whoever it is, but it creates a level of accountability for the cop or the agent that's wearing the camera to make sure that they're doing what they need to do, and that, maybe you didn't see something happen within the camera view, which means that most likely, it creates a really strange situation, I guess, but I guess it's better than not having it. The dash cams are good. Nobody's complained about them since we've had them.
Right.
So I don't know why this would be any different. Okay.
Yeah, I'm curious. Is there a invasion of privacy camp that says that cops wearing cameras on their vests is an invasion of privacy?
Absolutely.
There really is. After all the shit that's been happening in recent times, and we want to say that, just that bad things are happening, but no one was there, unfortunately. So now we don't have a record of how it happens, and we're going to say that we think vest cams are... I don't know. That's interesting. I shouldn't disparage. I shouldn't. I want to say that I'm not. I'm not talking crap on another argument. I guess I just didn't realize that was there. I'd be interested in hearing the opposing side to see what people had to say about that.
Well, it's interesting. Like somebody had posted this picture the other day that it caught my attention. It's kind of what you're talking about. It says, "I'm stuck in a generation that celebrates the execution-style murder of cops, but is offended by the sleep deprivation of terrorists."
Right.
You know, and everybody sits on one side of the fence either way. And and even with this picture, with this meme or whatever you want to call it, it's obviously not like the next generation all feels this way. You know, and there's not that many people celebrating the execution-style murder of cops, which, if you haven't kept up with current events, that happened up in New York a couple weeks ago, I think it was. But then we get into the issues of, you know, well, why is it okay that we're depriving terrorists of sleep? They're human beings and whatever else. And we talked about torture a few weeks ago, so that's also relevant. But it is an interesting point nonetheless.
Crazy stuff, man.
Yeah.
That's why I'm glad we have Karmafied.
Yeah, bringing the light to the world. All right, so next question, a little bit lighter, I suppose. And Tony, I'll start with you. Tony, are you in college, or are you doing any kind of college? Okay. Yeah. Are you online, or are you going to classes?
Community college.
Okay.
On campus.
All right, so then this will be relevant to you. Is the cost of college too high?
Because I'm a broke college student, I'm going to say yeah. But, I mean, if you go about it the right way, and you work hard, it's not going to be as expensive.
Okay.
But, I don't know, my whole college thing, I started at a big university, then worked my way down trying to figure out what I wanted to do.
Okay.
So that first year, when I did something I didn't want to do, I racked up $25,000 in debt.
Yeah.
Because it just wasn't what I wanted to do with my life.
And you have student loans for that, right?
Yeah. So, like, now someday once I'm done with school, I'll have to start paying on that.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it's getting to the point where I feel personally that colleges, like big universities, don't think of students as students or people to teach. They think of them as a source of income. Like, the more students we get, the more money we make. Because I know, like, professors at U of I have admitted that most of their job is to do research, and they have to bring in a certain amount of money to the college.
Yeah.
Teaching is just kind of their title.
Yeah.
Is what is just gets put on the back burner. So they leave a lot to the TAs. Mm-hmm. So I do think that tuition is getting a little out of hand.
Okay.
So you'll go to school for, I don't know, anywhere from 20 to over 100 grand to get a degree, and then you're not guaranteed a job once you get out.
And you have to pay that money back no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So what about you, Jake? Is the cost of college too high?
Let's see here. Well, I mean, depends on what you value. The sort of the return investment. We've been talking about that in the show today with movies and whatnot. But you know, you are investing sort of in yourself here when you do college. You're putting money forth, expecting that eventually your job, you know, the training that you get, the knowledge you learn is going to sort of pay you back. I come from a position of having been in community college, having not done so well, and eventually leaving, and being at the point now where I would consider going back. But the price can be a bit daunting. Especially with my track record of not having done so well in classes previous. And so my challenge now is, do I want to front the money, you know, maybe in excess of, you know, the amounts that Tony's talking about, in order to go back just to maybe not do well and rack up debt that I need, you know, just to learn. You know, all of this is all just to learn, to again, hopefully you get a return on investment on this. I don't know. I would say, I mean, of course I'm going to say it's too high because I can't do it. Because I can't afford it. Because you have to take out loans, you know. Here's what you're going to do for the rest of your life. We spend a large portion of our lives going through a school system to try and train us for the things that we're going to have to do in life. And everything prior to college, you know, maybe with the exception of parts of high school, really doesn't prepare you for much of it, I would say. You know, I'm sure I've learned some basics and everything like that, but, you know, college is such a necessity, and it's very hard to prepare prior to that to what you're going to experience coming out of it. Every college is different. And, I don't know. It's hard for me to come to a decisive answer because it's, like I said, it's up to what you apparently value, you know, everything. How much do you value knowledge? How much do you value what you're going to learn? Can you put a price on it, you know? Even though it's $20,000 per semester for whatever, you know, is that too much when you now are enriched for the quote unquote the rest of your life and can use that knowledge to, you know, infinite ends, you know, who knows? It does suck from coming in from a standpoint and my position here of, sure, I would like to learn, but I can't afford it. I can afford to learn. Yeah, literally go online and try to look some stuff up, you know, and try to find sources and try to, you know, do it myself. But to get a professional, official learning in college is very difficult sometimes if you're not already in a school, you know, to get scholarships, to get that kind of thing, to prove that, you know, I don't know. And so then, of course, you can also ask yourself, and this will be the last part of my answer here, you know, is it an indication that the prices are too high, the fact that they're willing to pay you that you're to basically do well at their school? That's what a scholarship is. You excel in this particular area. Rachel got music scholarships. She played music. What does that have anything to do with her studies? You know, like you could be a great whatever you are, but
I'm pretty sure there's League of Legends scholarships now.
There is. We brought them up. Wow. Yeah, we brought it up months ago. I think that actually is allowed. And sure, all of it's great, but the point is, what does that have to do with the fact of like you could be an awful student and be really good at League of Legends, but now because you're good at it, you know, you're getting scholarships. So my point there is saying, is that an admission to the college itself saying, you know, we're okay handing out $10,000 or $2,000 or however much thousand to this person because of this good thing, because honestly, we're already making bank as it is. So we're just going to give you, you know, a cut because you happen to make past the bar here that most people don't. That don't cross.
I mean, that's how businesses work. Like the movies, they recruit they pay actors to come help them make make money. Yeah. Same with like athletes and like so I'm sure if they give someone a scholarship to go to their school and they become super successful, then they get that this person attended UIUC or Harvard or any of those big colleges. And that's like, hey, this dude went there. He's super successful.
Yeah,
advertisements.
I would agree, I think, especially with what Tony said originally, is I think it's become a lot more of a business than a learning institution necessarily.
Yeah.
But whatever. I mean, it's I don't know. There's so many different ways to consider it, you know. Can you blame a business for being a business? You know, because it is a business. They can't offer it all for free. Not everyone can give up 8 hours a day of their time as a teacher for free. They have to make money somehow. So if they have to make money, then other people have to make money, and somehow they have to get paid. Well, how are they going to get paid? Well, now we have to pay because we're getting their services. You know, can we be angry that they are doing what they are doing to make a living? Who knows? But yes, I do think that the prices for school are too high. I would have to see what the price for like upkeep and stuff like that is for the bare essentials to see like whether or not it was how excessive it was, you know. But,
yeah, because you have to think if they're not using things like, you know, their athletics teams and their, you know, music groups or whatever to raise money for the school, who has to pay for that? Taxpayers do. And then they get mad that they're paying for a school they have nothing to do with.
Right.
And everybody loses. So then I guess that is a great segue into my next question.
Okay.
Which could be hairy.
Maybe.
Should the government provide health care?
Oh.
This is on the forefront of the news for the last several years with the current presidential administration. So, Jake, I'm going to start with you. You look like you're itching to say something.
Well, I don't want to disappoint. I am not 100% sure if I have an opinion on healthcare, just because I'm not ever 100% sure if I understand it fully. Okay. I understand the idea of health insurance, that you basically pay this premium and you are covered for certain things. Even with, I guess I don't know. I'm going to sound incredibly ignorant here, but I have not ever understood the major difference between government providing care and the government not providing care, because I believe in both instances you still have to pay some sort of premium. Do you not? Like, at least if the government provides it, I mean, it's not like it comes to you free, is it? Or is that true?
In some instances, yeah, you would get it for free.
So, the biggest argument that it seems to come from, and I'm going to try and talk about it from a philosophical standpoint as much as I can versus the hard, I don't want to say the hard facts, but because I can't really speak of it from much of another standpoint aside from what I feel like the ideas behind it are. It seems like the bigger concern with government provided healthcare versus whatever the alternative is, which what would you do, business provided healthcare? I mean, I don't understand. Is that there is now a portion of our taxes, right, that is being used to, I imagine, help fund these healthcare services. Is that the idea? Is that now we're paying a tax for, or that we're helping?
Not necessarily. I mean, like, I can tell you from my personal standpoint what we've seen, and I know a lot of my family and friends have also seen, is like, for instance, my wife and I have paid up to this point. We pay generally between the two of us, let's say $400 a month for health insurance for the two of us. Right?
Okay.
Now that the healthcare thing has kicked in, where essentially the government is providing healthcare to people that can't afford it, now the same insurance company, and we haven't changed anything. Now it's as of a certain date, we'll be paying over $600 a month for healthcare.
What is I guess so my question then is, what is the reason for the increase? I mean, do you know what? Because I'm trying to figure out.
This is my understanding. Because there are X number of people, or thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people, whatever, that can't afford it, well, that insurance company isn't going to pay out of their pocket for it. Right. And the government's not going to pay for it. So then the people that are paying have to make up that difference by having their premiums increased.
Sure. Okay, so I kind of understand it. From it basically, and again, even though it's not really a tax, it goes back to the idea of other people paying for other people's stuff.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep it brief because I've already taken up a lot of time trying to understand something that I probably should have known prior to this. But it all comes down to how okay you are with the idea of essentially, I guess, supporting other people, whether you think they deserve it or not. From my understanding, which again has been very limited if that has not been made clear throughout this entire last 5 minutes, government provided healthcare helps people that generally could not afford it. Okay, there are some people that genuinely have trouble affording healthcare, have to go off healthcare because they can't, people that aren't even, we associate this with too, like, it's all the druggies, or it's all the deadbeats, it's all the whatever. Rachel's going to have to jump off her healthcare here in a couple of years, and then I'm going to have to figure that out. I'm going to have to, can she afford it by herself? we're not married, so I can't put her down as a dependent on my health insurance. We have to be married for that to happen. So I can't just put her on my company's health insurance, which I could do if I wanted to. Now, I'm on my parents' health insurance at the moment because I'm old enough that I don't have to do that yet. But I am also going to get jumped off. Now, I have a job that provides health insurance. The school, I don't believe, provides health insurance for Rachel. So what am I going to do? You know, people who necessarily can't afford health insurance aren't always the bad people that we think that they make it out to be. Now, of course, there are some that you would say, well, that guy's spending his money on this bad thing over here. He shouldn't be spending it. He should be using that for health insurance or whatever. It all comes down, I guess, to, you know, same thing with taxes. You know, we complain about taxes. I don't have a kid in school, so why are my taxes being divided up to go to kids in school and all that kind of crap? I don't know. Sometimes that's what, I don't know. If you hate people and you don't want to help them out and you only want to help out yourselves. Well, I mean, because I'm not trying to make it sound like government health insurance is the way to go. It's a really slippery slope. But it's so hard to answer because it's okay to not want to pay for other people's shit. It is okay to feel that way, you know? So it's not to say that, well, you're just, you know, inhuman. How could you not want to help your fellow man out, you know? You don't have... What the hell's going on out there? Did anyone else...
My rims!
I know. I should have had that. You know, it's... I don't know. I don't know enough about it to have a fully solid opinion. But like I said, I think that basically comes down to how okay you are with adjusting your life to try and essentially help someone else's that is less fortunate. Unfortunately, it takes, as you can see, a large amount. I mean, that's a 50% increase on your pay rate for that. It's large. So you think to yourself, well, it's my hard-earned money. Should I be giving that to someone else who really hasn't earned it? Or do I try to chalk it up to, well, that is one person who does deserve it somewhere, that has done things but just has had bad luck, down on his luck or whatever, that now is able to get a health insurance where he otherwise couldn't because of my contribution, because of my neighbor's contribution, because of all these other contributions for people that, you know, didn't have to. But and the problem is it's not voluntary. That's I think the major issue. Yeah, is that it's not like, okay, well, people who want to be nice can pay a higher premium and they get to be nice, and now we have social, healthcare. It's government mandated, and I think that's where I guess the major problem lies. I'm done talking about it. I'm sorry. I really talked about a lot of nothing for something I knew nothing about.
All right, so Tony, what's your 2 cents? I feel like you're Googling it.
No, not much. I was just fooling around. Honestly, when it comes to healthcare stuff, I'm still on my mom's plan. But I don't know a whole lot about either side to go to, and I will say this, something should be different.
Okay.
From right now, because I just know a lot of people that, like, even us, like my family, we have like a lot of medical bills we've had to pay just because, like, my dad's a laborer, or he was in the operating unit, and he had some intestinal issues that put him out for a few months. He had to have surgery, and we're still paying off those bills. And then, like, a couple of weeks later, my brother tore his ACL, MCL, his meniscus in a football game, and we, like, all of a sudden, just a bunch of medical bills just all suddenly piled up. It is pretty darn stressful.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know. I guess I'll have, the older I get and the closer I get to getting kicked off my parents' health insurance plan, I'll probably be forming my own opinion. Okay. More so. But as for now, I just don't have much to formulate one on.
Yeah, I think we're both in the same boat there. I didn't actually consider it that way. Neither of us have had to really worry too much about health insurance. Now, I did actually have my own health insurance when I was working at Maui Gym back in Illinois, but I only paid for myself, and I'm pretty sure it was like $60 a month.
Yeah.
It was super cheap. I remember I was on my dad's plan. He looked at the Maui Jim plan and goes, get on Maui Jim's plan. He's like, not only is the coverage better, but it's far cheaper. And so it's the only time I've ever been on it. And then I moved here, and I didn't bother getting on the plan from where I work now because I don't think it was much better than what my dad's offered. But
okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry that neither of us have more ammo to provide for the topic.
No worries. So let me throw this at you real quick, and I think we're just about out of time on my part, but I'll throw this at you and I'll let you both answer. Let's say, and I know this doesn't compare, but just for the sake of the question,
sure.
Let's say that it comes down from your boss, like the big boss of the whole company, the big wig, that he says or she says, you are now going to, let's see, you're going to pay half the car payment of somebody that you work with that can't afford a car so they can continue to go to work and make money. You're going to pay half the car payment, okay? Now, you don't get to choose who it is. It's just going to be somebody random that you work with. But it's mandated. It's coming out of your paycheck, half the car payment. Let's say it's $150 a month.
I guess it does kind of put it in perspective.
Yeah, something that we can all relate to. Because, I mean, I'm kind of the same boy. Like, I don't know if I know enough about the whole situation, but when I heard about it, that's kind of how I related it to myself. Now, I don't know if that will change anything, because you might still say, well, it's somebody I work with, they need a car, so I'm going to pay my money to help them get a car, or whatever the case might be.
I would be surprised.
Would the favor be returned?
No.
No, that's the thing.
Isn't that how it works? If someone else gets it, I should qualify, shouldn't I?
Nope, because they can't afford a car, but they still have to work.
I can't afford a car right now.
Oh, you don't have a car?
Tony's that guy.
I mean, I have
so
one,
what's happening is I'm paying Tony's
car
payment right now. That is a good question. The circumstance really is the same, but it does really sort of make it difficult, to say that. How can I don't know. Because I guess you never
about
really
$150 a month. That might not be chump change, and it might not be either way. It's enough money where you're like, oh man, I got to pay this money. It's
it definitely from all the payments that I pay right now, that is a very large sum to take out just to say here you go, just so that guy can work. Maybe it would be something I would get used to over time, but it would be a very big change.
Tony, you feel the same way?
It depends. I don't know.
Like I said, you can't pick who it is.
I know, but I mean, I don't know anyone at work besides people on my team, and there's thousands of people that work at CAT.
Well, that's a great example because people in your team, let's say you like everybody on your team. Great work ethic, they're good people, they're just down on their luck. But there's all those thousands of other people you're like, that guy's a turd, that guy's a turd. Oh,
no. Honestly, right now, I would say no because I'm scraping by as it is. It's I literally couldn't really afford that.
Yeah.
And plus, if the CEO of CAT was telling me that, I was like, you do it. Just buy it.
You pay for it.
You have the whole 7th floor as your office.
Only the rich should have to pay
you
for
can buy a
insurance
car.
And car payments.
Don't make the poor man that works part-time.
Right.
But see, I guess that's the trade-off, though. Is you don't get to choose whether or not you make enough money to do that. You just if you're not the one who can't, you are the one that can, and you now have to enable.
Yeah, and not to mention, I know people that have gone from $500 a month to $800 or $900 a month. And we're talking almost doubled. $13,000 deductibles. And it's pretty insane. But again, I don't know enough to know how the system works and why it is the way it is, but it is something which rates a good discussion. So
yeah, that was brilliant. I really need to see a pros and a cons thing of back and forth. I want to see, if you're going to do this to me, to people, it's a big change. Mm-hmm. I want to see what it's enabling, Is it more than just, that guy gets to have his broken leg fixed, Is it more than that? Is it really changing lives to have this happen? If yes, You know, maybe it's something that I can work with and be okay with, to think, well, this really sucks. But if it were me in that position, you know, that's the hardest part, is thinking, you know, we think of it from the position of we're getting our money taken from. What if we were the other guy that couldn't afford it? But now we can, thanks to these not so generous people, because they're not willfully giving it. But you know, I mean, it's hard to do it. You know what? But that was a great topic. That the last part really put it into perspective. I'm glad you actually brought that up. I feel like that made it a little bit more relatable for us to figure out. It's wonderful having you on the show as always. I look forward to having you on the show next week and following weeks and everything after. Ross Bays, thank you for being on today.
All right, thanks, fellas. See ya.
See you later. Now let's try to recenter everything here. Oh boy. Yep, I shouldn't have done that. Well, we're just going to leave it kind of how it is. And I hate this. There should be an easier way to do this, but there's not. Well, thanks for tuning in, everybody. We have some things here to spout off at the end of the show like we always do. If you want to help us out, tell your friends and share all of our stuff on social media. I really should hire someone to use the Twitter page, because I forget to post about us on Twitter every week. Every week I forget. But if you see us post things on Facebook, share them. Try to do a personalized post. Saw that my sister posted about us today. It was very generous of her, very nice of her to post such wonderful things about the show. Don't just share stuff. Put a little something. Doesn't have to be anything crazy. You can just say, go listen to this. Go listen to the show. It was a good show today. You know, whatever. Sponsor segment. If you want a sponsor segment, you can find out more about that on the website. We were not going to retire that. No one's ever going to sponsor us ever again, but feel free to think about it. Support us on Patreon. Go to patreon.com/streamthemachine. You don't even have to put any money up there. You can just say, you know what, I'm a supporter, and click the support button. If you feel like, hey, you know what, I'll give them $1 a month, or I'll give them however many a month. That is great for us. It does a lot for us, and I really, appreciate anything that you can contribute, but you don't have to contribute at all. You can follow us on Twitter. I am at Redefined Jack. Tony is at Tony DePalma. I almost said Redefined Tony DePalma 51, but that is not true. It's just at Tony DePalma 51. You can follow the show at STM Podcast. I would highly recommend following us on the Facebook. We are far more accurate that way. The website is streamthemachine.com. There you can find old episodes. You can see new episodes when they go up live if you don't have an iPhone. If you have an iPhone, go to the iTunes store, search for Stream the Machine, click on podcast. You will find us there. Click subscribe. You can get the show sent to you every time a new show drops. What else is there to say? That's pretty much it. I want to thank everybody for their help with the show. Tony, as always, you are great. I want to thank you for your great stories about concussions and snowboarding.
Strange dogs.
And Strange Dogs. Strange Dogs is a good one. Want to thank Ross for finally coming back on the show and providing us with some crazy good material. I really like the discussion segments. As much as I like goofing off in the first half, it feels good to sort of sit back down and really kind of dig into things towards the end. Next week is episode 39. We are almost 10 episodes away from the 1 year and the 50 episode. We are damn close. So, if you haven't been listening in for who knows how many episodes now, our 50th episode, our 50th year anniversary is what I was going to say. Been around for a lot longer than you realize. Our 50th episode coincides with approximately the same week that it will be our 1 year anniversary. So, we will not be missing a single show until then. If every one of us is sick and we have to miss a Saturday, we will figure out how to do it on a Sunday. If Tony can't do it, if Ross can't do it, if all it takes is me in the bathroom going between puking and me going, here we go, live streaming and recording, and here's the episode of me being sick, that will be, I will do it. We will figure out a way to get it because we're going to do it. We're going to have our 1 year and our 50th episode. 1 year, man. We have almost been doing this for an entire year. It's crazy.
That's crazy.
It is crazy because you know what? It doesn't.
Pretty darn crazy.
And honestly, the good thing about it is the fact that it doesn't feel like a year means it sure as hell hasn't been feeling like work. It's been something that we've been enjoying what we're doing. It definitely would feel like a year if every Saturday we woke up. You know what? I'll tell you what. Most Fridays I go, oh crap, I have to wake up early tomorrow. But as soon as we start the show, as soon as I start doing some of the stuff, as soon as we get up and we actually start the show, I am very grateful that we do what we do. Of course, every Friday, it's always like, I want to sleep in. But I'm going to feel much better after I get done with the show. It's actually a really great way to start Saturdays.
It is.
My Saturday is always usually great after we do a show. I'm always like, yes! I've been pumped up. So, anyways, more about that kind of crap when the 50th show comes along. We're going to try and do something special. We got to figure out what it is. Next week, episode 39, we are going to play a song right now. I actually kind of was enjoying going on like the weird holiday theme that we were for a while for Christmas and Thanksgiving. So I'm going to play a song called New Year's Day. New Year's Day is already passed. It's been 2 days ago, but I figured, what the hell? Give me something to play. It is a song called New Year's Day by the band Interstate Orange. The album's called Tomorrow Is Today. We will be back next week with more stuff, more Tony, more Ross, more everybody. And hopefully more entertainment and more discussions and just everything. Just everything.
Toronto doesn't have bums.
Little words of advice or knowledge or whatever you want to call it. Anyways, here we go. Interstate Orange with New Year's Day. Tony, thank you for everything. Thank you for being on the show. Thank you for being an awesome co-host. We'll be back next week. We will see you then.
Later.
But if you could see, the love's gone sweetly. I know that you find yourself in a spring. But when you go around, you bring it home. If it could time, if you know anyone, I'll see you on New Year's Day. If it could find, it's the only time to let you find some peace of mind. I know how disappear. I could find someone to forgive.
My rims! A piece of that tip just got me.
Oh, and that's a show.